In this case, I guess the Khuzait do not agree. So they're going to be doing that over and over again until the cows come home, which is more than likely until the end of time. Hello and welcome back to the Ronin, and when we left off, we had taken a couple of things from the Khuzait, and we had done battle with them as well, and done pretty well, actually, pretty reasonably, no, not too bad, and now I have returned to Tetsujin territory because there's something that I very badly wanted to do, and that was upgrade my armor a little bit, and as you can see, I have been successful in my quest, my search, to find something as good as what I'm currently wearing, especially considering it's Tetsujin themed. This is 144,000. Very much worth it. I will be equipping it. Oh, look at, oh, nice. We're looking much better than we were before, in my opinion. Alright, now, what I would like to do as well is try to find some additional boots, some better boots than what I'm currently wearing. Seems like that is not going to happen, as you can see right here. Seems like these do not have the same kind of protection that we're currently afforded by our current set of boots, but alright, not too bad. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to continue selling some stuff. So basically, because all of my loot got stolen in my wonderful defeats that we had not too long ago, I really don't have a huge amount to sell anymore. So even though I do have a decent amount, especially an amount that will indeed cover all of my expenses right here, which is really quite fantastic, it is still greatly reduced. I believe that more than likely I had millions of gold just sitting in my inventory back then, but unfortunately that is not the case any longer. So yeah, anyway, I don't know whether you've noticed, but that we have another companion, and he is Wusa, the swordsman, and he's pretty good. I feel like I mean he's all right. I mean, I haven't really looked at him at all. I mean, what are his stats like? I haven't even looked at his stats. Basically, he was the only one in the tavern at the time, and I thought to myself, okay, we're gonna have to go for this guy because otherwise I'm going to be stuck with 4 people in my army, and it's just not going to be very good. Anyway, as you can quite clearly see, he has 2-handed weapon proficiency, and he's a He's a user of athletics. Not a big fan of that, so I actually gave him a horse. I personally would prefer my commanders to be on horses as much as they possibly can, so that's the reason why I've done that. Otherwise, here's my party, by the way. Haven't really been doing too much with it, just basically continuing to recruit Tetsujin units as much as I possibly can, and level them up. And that's it. Yeah, we do have another person as well, Lamb Card right here. A Lamb Card is basically a little bit of an insurance policy, because I found that, in my opinion, I feel like having 4 allies in my army is probably the kind of like sweet spot, and you don't really want more than that. At least I don't want more than that, because it's going to start having a detrimental effect on our overall speed on the world map, and also it is of course going to mean that we have to have a lot of expenditure when it comes to food supplies and things like that. Anyway, let's go into our character screen here, because I'm continually getting alerts about stuff going on here, but apparently I have nothing to level up. Yes, we are at that point in the game, it appears, where we never have anything to level up. Yes, what a travesty that is. Anyway, basically what I would like to do in this episode is I would like to, once again, try to eliminate as many of the Khuzait as we can get our hands on, because I personally... Oh, hello. Hello there. Hello there, Mr. Botanian person. Yes, he just got some reinforcements. That's not particularly good. Alright, let me just pause here real quick. I'm just going to take a look at his composition. It's actually not even that bad. It doesn't seem that bad. Anyway, what I'd like to do first is go over to the diplomacy screen, so you can see here, look at these Botanians. They are running away with things right now. The Khuzait... What? What? Whoa, okay. So the Khuzait are doing extremely badly. This is very good. I like it. Okay, so this is not something that I really want to do. I really do not want to fight the Botanians. I think it is a waste of my time, frankly. No offense, Botanians, but yeah, it is basically a waste, because what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be expending resources, I'm going to be expending time, And obviously, above all, I'm going to be expending my troops. And I kind of wanted to use those to try and consolidate further territory in Khuzait lands. But I think it is quite important to try and knock them down a peg or two. I don't really want to just allow them to run away with things in such a significant manner that they're going to end up being one of the hardest factions for us to defeat. And they already have a massive amount of territory under their control already. So we'll see what we can do. We'll see. But at the moment, we're just going to try and take on this relatively large force, actually. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure if we're going to be able to do okay here. But yeah, as long as we don't say the M word too much, you know, murder, you know, as long as we don't say that too much, we should be okay. I'm kind of surprised that one of my contingents is going so incredibly close to the opponent already. Whoever is commanding these forces is an absolute imbecile. And I'm not talking about me, even though that is kind of true as well. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so no. Swiftly moving on. Anyway, point is, they're moving a little bit too close for my liking, and I would definitely not recommend them to do that anymore. Oh, nice overkill right there. I think he's probably going to be dead. If the overkill actually does make a difference, you know, on the likelihood that they'll suffer a fatality, then I'm looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to it. All right, so let's just tell my archers to go into loose formation. Oh, yeah, now these guys are just all going to die. Oh, nice. Look at that. That was some massive damage right there. Oh, yes. That is what I'm talking about. Okay, I've got to be really careful here, too, because these guys, while while we haven't really fought and indeed even seen a lot of the Botanians so far, they are very good at archery, as you can no doubt tell. Just took 51 damage. That's pretty significant. And you know what? I would really love to see more perks that have to do with your own survival and less to do with just giving you flat percentage bonuses or something like that. Because generally, I think that's not particularly exciting, you know? It's not particularly exciting because let's just say that you've just started playing the game and you level up and you think to yourself, okay, cool, what do I have? You know, what can I do with this? And then you put a focus point in one-handed or whatever. And then you think to yourself, okay, I put a focus point in one-handed, that's great, I'm at 25 in one-handed and I gain like a thing that increases my handling by 10% or something like that. And then you go, okay, well, cool, I guess, you know. So it doesn't really inspire a huge amount of excitement there. But what I would like to see, as I said, is additional survival options. So even the ability to actively bandage yourself, potentially. That would be quite nice. Obviously, I think there is a mod that does that, so I guess the base game doesn't need it. But I think it would be kind of cool to like award that particular utility ability towards every single player that plays Bannerlord. But you know, I mean, it's really very much player dependent, because some people might find that to be a little bit cheating, and some people might like a more hardcore experience and stuff like that. But you know, those kinds of things are optional, you know. So technically, you don't even have to use it if it is bound to a particular key or something. Let's say it's bound to, I don't know, P or O or L or something like that, somewhere far away from your main keys that you're using. Then yeah, it's highly unlikely that people are going to use it that often. So you know, that's pretty good. If you don't want to, that is. But if people do want to, because they want to, you know, slightly simpler time, or they want to just, you know, make a couple of bold moves and then heal themselves up a little bit. And I'm talking about making this balanced as well, because obviously I've talked about this before, and generally I don't want it to be an overpowered ability that provides you with 100% healing in under 5 seconds. You know, I mean, I think that's obviously way too much. But what I'm talking about is something like, I don't know, 35% healing over 30 seconds or something like that. You know, nothing too dramatic, just something that's going to keep you a little bit more in the battle. And yeah, as I say, I know a lot of people are hardcore about, you know, those kinds of abilities and everything, and that's absolutely fine, you know. But as I said, you don't have to use it. But otherwise, I think things that will increase your maximum HP I think that the ones that are currently implemented are lackluster at the moment. I don't think those perks are that interesting because they are basically just flat values. And as we all know, flat values, especially when introduced to scaling in many different applications, it's just not really going to make any difference whatsoever. Because, let's face it, if you're in a battle against, I don't know, high-tier units, like we are right now, you know, most of these guys are actually pretty high-tier. You can see here, Battanian heroes, we've got some veteran Falksmen, they all do a lot of damage, those guys. And if you're literally running around with 100 base HP, which is exactly what I have right here, then you're going to feel pretty much like paper. And I do. I feel quite a bit like paper at the moment because I take one shot, like you just saw, and I'm down to half HP. Which, in Warband, that actually would not have happened, because in Warband you would be speccing into things like Iron Flesh, and it's just inevitable that you're going to be gaining HP. And personally, I feel like speccing your attributes in that way was pretty smart in the original in the original game in Warband, and obviously in the other Mountain Blades as well, because anytime you can increase your HP, that's going to increase your enjoyment factor, because obviously if you're playing on a higher difficulty, you're going to get massive amounts of damage incoming, and it's going to be something that you, well, would kind of like to continue doing, because fighting in the game is really fun, you know? It's really, really fun. And so, you know, being on the ground, that's not so much fun. So, you know, having the ability to stick around a little bit longer and maybe then eventually succumbing to your wounds, yeah, that's fine. You know, that's all good. But that's the thing. In Bannerlord, when you spec into, like, Endurance or Vigor or whatever, nothing happens. There's no passive benefit to speccing into those attributes. The only thing you get is a slight increase in the experience gain and the capacity of the skills tied to that stat. As far as I'm aware, that's what you get. Of course, I could be wrong. There might be something else that is hidden from plain sight or something like that, but that was not the case in Warband, so I assume there's nothing. And in which case, I think that is a missed opportunity, because I feel like if you have 10 in Endurance, I feel like you should get 1 point... well, what shall we say? I feel like you should get 10 HP per 1 point of Endurance, for example. That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about here, just to add a little bit more RPG to the game, and to add a little bit more survivability here and there. It's going to make a huge difference, you know? It's going to make a huge difference, because for those of us that may want to spec a huge amount into Endurance, then that's going to make it just that much more simple for us to survive a little bit and take extra risk, you know, extra risk, go behind enemy lines, see if you can survive, and so on. And for those that don't, for those that want to be a little bit more of a ranged character potentially, then you don't have to spec into Endurance, but you're going to feel like a little bit more of a weaker character as a result of that, especially when it comes to HP values. So I think that that's kind of interesting, because if you think about how much stat I have right now, because I obviously have a mod that makes me gain one attribute point every single level, which obviously, in my opinion, is pretty cool. I think that the way that it's done in the base game is a little bit slow, but obviously that is up to you. You can install the mod as well. It's called Bannerlord Tweaks. If you don't want to, then obviously you don't have to, but otherwise, if you take a look at my stats right now, my stats are basically... I think I have 10 endurance. I think I have 10 endurance or something like that. I'm just going to let my people take all the prisoners if they want to. I'll take all the loot as well. Thank you very much. And yeah, so I have, I think, 10 endurance. So, no! Oh. And we lost one of our family. Oh, wow. Alright, okay. That's... I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. Alright, well, we have 10 endurance. There's nothing I can say, to be honest. I mean, that's literally just how it is, you know? That is literally just how it is. Okay, both both. I've been. What? Are you? Yeah. Okay. Fine. All right. Yeah. So we lost two. We lost two of our clan members right there. I'm actually extremely surprised. Okay. So, Varric, you're my only hope. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ah. Yes. There we go. Anyway, no. Varric is our only hope right now. To continue our clan potentially, and we're going to be making this guy into our new person that is going to be doing stuff. So we're just going to be giving him some random units right here. I guess these. I mean, that's the thing. This looks extremely powerful right now, but you got to bear in mind that they were split between two people. So yeah, because these guys have literally been leveling these things up for quite a significant period of time, and initially I gave them tier 3, tier 4 units, and they've all leveled up into tier 6, which is actually insane. So they really do a very good job of leveling up. Okay, this guy's actually staying at... should I get him and then just basically kill him as well? Yeah, let's go over and get Varric, shall we? I think this is going to be quite well, is it amusing? Really? I can't believe it. Alda did such a good job. She was absolutely fantastic. Oh well. I can't really do much about that. Okay, so let's take Varric into our party here. And I'm going to give him some stuff, because obviously he doesn't have... Oh, he might. He might actually have some stuff. Oh, he's got some good stuff. Hello there. Okay, yeah. He's got some pretty decent gear. Wow, he's got a really good helmet. Obviously, as I've said before, I'm not going to be taking anything that is not thematically fitting to our current series, so I'm not going to be doing that. But he's already got a Vlandian heavy lance. He has a one-handed sword that is actually pretty fantastic. He's pretty much got everything that he could ever want, apart from some shoulders. So we're going to be giving him some shoulders if I can find that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give him this Tetsujin armor. He might as well look a little bit more like, our brother. Might make more sense, right? Yeah. Okay, so anything else here? Anything else? We can give him some new gloves, and what about shoes? No, he's already wearing some pretty good boots. Oh, no, we can give him these. Okay, there we go. All right, that seems pretty good. And there we are. Okay. So let's make him... Wait a minute. I didn't call Lamcard, did I? No. I just left him back there. Oh, I am an imbecile. Okay, wait a minute. There he is. He's 17 hours away already? Are you serious? Okay, well, whatever the case, hopefully he's going to be able to catch up to us. And what we're going to do is we're just going to create another one. Varric is going to be joining us. He has 130 capacity as well. Seems like they all do. And we're just going to be giving him a couple of these guys. And we'll just give him the remaining little random units that we have, apart from the lower tier ones. I don't really want to give them militia or anything like that. We'll give him these, and then the remaining couple of Imperial Legionaries. There we go, 129. Perfect. Very nice. It seems to be working quite well. And now we can indeed manage our army once again and get Varric in there. There we go. All right, so he's going to join us. Hopefully, hopefully Lamcard is not going to feel too insulted, because I basically just left him wherever. Where is he? Where is he? Oh, there he is. Okay, whew. I was a little bit worried there for a second. All right, come on. Get in. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I'm going to rush over to Jogaris Castle because it is currently under siege, and we do want to try and stop any kind of offensive action from taking place there. And I don't really want to run around with all these units, to be honest. I like the Tetsujin, don't get me wrong. I like all the Tetsujin units, but I don't really want these Khuzait, or these looters, or the Imperials, or anything like that. So I'm going to have to try and either find another companion, or I'm just going to have to just dump them in like a garrison or something like that. Oh, it seems like we're moving extremely slowly because I am now running around with massive amounts of prisoners for some reason. I guess it's because they were taken by some of our other people. Oh, I actually have a massive amount of capacity. Who would have thought it? Okay, yeah, so this is actually a Khuzait army. Interesting. I actually am kind of surprised that they still have the will to fight, considering they have been beaten back pretty decisively over the past couple of episodes. So let's see. They have 24 heavy lancers. They have a couple of Khan's guards, nothing really to write home about there. And nothing much, actually. Okay, let's do it. Let's go, guys. Alright. This is going to be in the nighttime. Not a big fan of nighttime battles, because it does reduce our overall effectiveness with archers. And as you can see, my archers are, well, my primary power in this particular army composition. So we might have some issues. But let's just see. The AI is most likely going to be heading into the left tree line, I would assume. Or, well, no, it probably seems like the right, because the right tree line is closer to them. Yeah, that's generally what the AI tends to do on this map set, and I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. I like it, don't get me wrong. I think it is actually a pretty cool maneuver to have, and I think it definitely adds a little bit more of a lively feeling. You know, they feel like they're a real player, or, you know, someone with intelligence behind it doing that kind of formation. But the problem with it is that they do it every single time. There's not really any deviation from that plan, and they do tend to do that a lot. So it is maybe not the best idea for them to do that all the time. I would definitely say that a little bit of variety never hurt anyone. But in this case, I guess the Khuzait do not agree. So they're going to be doing that over and over again until the cows come home, which is more than likely until the end of time. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, otherwise, this is a bit of a mistake on their part. I'm actually kind of surprised that they're running in here so much. Why are they being so incredibly aggressive with their cavalry? Get him. Can we actually kill this guy? There we go. Oh, murdered. He got murdered by the Imperial Sergeant Crossbowman. Very nicely done. Yeah, I'm having difficulties actually even fighting on this hilltop here, because my weapon is so long, it has a difficulty dealing with the angles. Yeah, take him down. Take down this guy. Oh, never mind. Don't need to worry about that guy. Yeah, so now they've basically thrown away their cavalry, as you can quite clearly tell. They have thrown them away for basically nothing. And I guess I'm happy about that, right? There's nothing much they can do about it, as you can see. They seem to just literally be doing some random stuff here. Ooh, gotta be a bit careful of this guy. There we go, never mind. Okay, so my archers, as you can see, are all the way up there. I'm going to try and move them ahead a little bit more. We're going to tell them to go into a loose formation too. That's going to increase their effectiveness, or it should at least. And we are otherwise just going to try and pick off as many of the enemy's cavalry as we can. Because that is where their strength lies, after all. Although, that's actually quite funny to say that, because in a previous battle, it has been shown pretty decisively that the Khuzait, when they have a pretty significant number of Khuzait marksmen, which are their highest tier archers, when they have a lot of those, they can deal with the best of them. You know, they can do massive damage. If they have those guys, they will probably rack up the most kills in any given battle, even if they have cavalry at their disposal. So that really does speak volumes about how effective Khuzait archers actually are. So if you see, you know, if you're playing as well, and you see an army that has a lot of Khuzait marksmen, but not of anything else, and you don't really have a massive amount of cavalry yourself, because obviously cavalry count as archers for the most part, then you might want to think twice about attacking them. That's generally what I've tended to do now as well. I tend to look for marksmen as well as other kinds of cavalry. You know, apart from just the regulars, you know, apart from heavy lancers and so on, you know, I generally tend to look for the marksmen and any other ranged units that they might want to start using. And we need to be a bit careful here. I don't really want to get my horse killed if I can help it. Okay, yeah. So, unfortunately, we have one of my contingents coming down here, and they're all suffering some pretty heavy casualties. I'm actually going to tell my infantry to charge in here. I'm not commanding that contingent, by the way. I can't do anything about that. They have literally just charged in because that's what one of my commanders decided to do, which is obviously far from good, far from efficient, and definitely something that I would never have done myself. But that's what happens, you know? That's what happens when you have some people working with you. You don't really have full control over what they're going to decide in any given situation. But I suppose that actually makes me a pretty poor commander, because if they decide to do something, then maybe I should try to adapt a little bit to their overall thinking and then support them in that thinking, rather than just hold back and do what I think is best. However, doing that does safeguard my units quite dramatically in comparison to just sending them in randomly and then getting most of them killed. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, if you'll excuse the pun slightly, because, you know, we use a double-edged sword, kind of. Anyway, so I think we're pretty much done here. I think my archers, as you can see, have now spread out so significantly. Oh, there we go, lost my horse, but that's alright. Don't have a shield, of course, so this might be a bit problematic, but I think we should be alright. This is actually kind of amazing. I have not lost my my horse in quite some time, so this is going to be quite fun, because I would like to get a little bit of... Oh, dear. Oh dear. Okay, I'm probably going to die. Yeah, I actually wanted to get a little bit of crossbow skill, but I'm going to try and disappear into our lines here. Hello. If he stops, I'm gonna shoot him. No, he didn't stop. Oh, that was a shame. Oh, I hit one of my own guys and then I got run over. But oh no, that is quintessentially me, isn't it? Yes, every single time. Boom. You know. Okay, there we go. At least I killed one of the Imperial archers. Okay, we've got to be a bit careful here. Maybe I should bring out my one-handed a little bit. Let's go for a little bit of one-handed action, because leveling up my one-handed is definitely going to be quite important. Well, quite important. Yeah, probably should not have done that either, but oh well, never mind. I think this is indeed a victory for us. However, we are in a pretty bad situation. Obviously, this is what I tried to tell you about in the previous episodes. You don't really want to go that close to the enemy's reinforcement area, because they are then going to start overrunning you. And while I thought we had a pretty significant advantage, the auto-delegation system is once again proving to be completely and utterly useless. It's really quite funny, because just look at all the casualties we're receiving right now. If they had literally just decided to just continue shooting or continue fighting, we probably would have finished it up with many less casualties. But they obviously decided to retreat for some reason, even though we had overall number advantage and generally just had many different kinds of advantages. So yeah, kind of strange there, but let's just have a look. Did we lose a lot of units? No. Oh, Lamcard lost a huge amount of those guys. No, well, that's not too bad, I suppose. That's not too bad. Alright, pretty well done, because that means that the Crusade once again have been completely beaten down, which is exactly what we want. Ooh, there's a lot of troops right there. A lot of troops to rescue. I like that too. Anytime you can rescue troops, oh yeah, you better best bet that I'm gonna do it. Oh yeah, that is really, really good. It doesn't happen enough, in my opinion. In Bannerlord, that doesn't really happen enough. Okay, oh, here we go. A huge amount of people were actually killed right there. I'm not entirely sure which ones were on our side, but whatever the case, it just makes everything just that much more dynamic and exciting, at least in my opinion. So I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, it seems like Lamcard doesn't even need more of my assistance with his troops. And this guy, yes, this guy actually does. Okay, great. Okay, so now let me see. I'm going to be just transferring a bunch of these guys over to him. And I just got to watch out for his capacity right now, because I don't really want to give him too many. And I think that's actually it. That is all I can do. Okay. Alright, perfect. Okay, so I am basically dead, because I'm at 1% HP, so that's not very good. What I would like to do, as I said before, is I'd like to take Hakun Castle, Ortengard, Uzek Castle, and so on, but I actually wanted to make a brief stopover siege at Amprela. And it's kind of like a bit of a bait and switch sort of thing, because I wanted to go here, try to draw out any army that may be in the area, and then if they do come after me, then I'll run in the direction of Ortengard, and I'll try to weaken up the garrison significantly before that potentially happens, and then maybe one of my friendly vassals can come in and try to take it from, you know, the previous little bit of weakening that I did. So I'm hopeful that maybe that will work, but obviously it really very much depends on the smartness of our allies, and they have proven to be pretty smart in the past. So I'm quite happy about it, to be honest. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can go for some trebuchets here. Very nice indeed. And then, what are we going to do? Well, we have about the same amount of units in our army that the enemy has in the garrison. But I'm not going to be heading in there just yet. I'm certainly not going to be heading in there just yet. So let's just wait, and we'll see. Ah, hello there. Yep, exactly. Look at this. This is exactly what I was talking about. Okay, so this is actually perfect, because what I'm going to do... Where are they going? Are you serious? They're literally ignoring us? Okay, that's unheard of for the Crusade. That is very rare. I am extremely surprised that they decided to go that route. Wow. Okay. They're probably going to be heading back here anytime now, right? I mean, I am 100% believing that they will come back. But if they don't, then this is basically a free capture for us. And look at that. We just took this castle as well. So I'm just going to be, you know, voting for this guy. Generally, I tend to select the 100 influence option every single time now, because it does tend to give me the most charm experience possible. And there's 31,000 left on the walls, so we'll see what happens. Alright, so here we go. We're in the siege, and I had no problems whatsoever. No enemies decided to turn up. They were just leaving me to it, basically. And I took down both walls, and we're going to be telling everyone to charge in. Because, let's face it, if you do have battering rams and siege towers already constructed, then some of your units, if they're left on auto-delegation, are going to man those, and in my opinion that is a complete waste of manpower. So generally I'm just tending to do something a little bit different here, and just going straight on in, doing massive damage. Oh yeah, let's do these, do the massive damage. There we go. Okay, hello. Don't, come on, don't hit me. Are you serious? Get out of here. Alright, wait a minute. I'm gonna go for my two-handed now. I really need to make another weapon, don't I? Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. This weapon right here, it's pretty good, you know? I mean, stat-wise, it's pretty good. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to have the oomph that I really, really want from a two-handed weapon. And if I want a one-handed, then I'm going to use a one-handed, you know what I mean? So having the versatility of a one-handed / two-handed weapon is, in my opinion, really not going to make that much difference. I feel like the versatility is not worth it, because I could literally just use this. I could use this two-handed polearm right here and just see how much damage it is capable of dealing. It's just insanity. Just look at this. It's crazy the amount of damage I can deal. And in comparison, my two-handed has difficulties even doing about 50 damage, which is really harsh. Oh, hello. Might be good for this though. Oh, never mind. Our people supported me just as I was changing weapon. But, oh, look at that. Look. It actually did some pretty decent damage, but only against the ones that are really lightly armored, which is kind of unfortunate. Would have liked to have seen a little bit of more damage from this against these kinds of guys. But you can see here, I'm using a one-handed now. Using it in one-handed stance. Oh, hello there. Oh dear. Oh, never mind. No, we're good. Oh, hello. There's a lot of people coming in from this area. But look, you see how much damage I'm able to deal to this guy? My one-handed proficiency is actually not that bad. Like, yeah, okay, you know, it's pretty low in comparison to my polearm proficiency, but I should be able to do more damage to heavily armored units than just 2 or 10, you know. It's just not enough in my opinion. So I'm thinking what I'll do is I'm going to probably try and craft a one-handed, because I think in the grand scheme of things, if I am using or indeed want a weapon that is going to hit really hard from reach, you know, from like slightly larger range, then I'm just going to use my polearm. But if I want something for close quarters combat, then I'm going to be using a one-handed rather than a two-handed. So I think if we are thinking about versatility and the adaptability even of our character, then I think it's probably going to be a good idea for us to go for something that is going to enable me to fight in every single situation. And my polearm pretty much fits every single one, with the exception of obviously ranged combat. I mean, obviously. And then close quarters combat. So something that is good for close quarters combat. I'm not entirely sure what, but we'll definitely check it out and see what we can do. Anyway, we lost 34 units, and I can now theoretically go straight into the smithy if I want to. I'm just going to actually leave all of these prisoners the way they are, and I'm going to need to restore myself over a pretty decent amount of time as well. Alright, so we've taken Amprela. This is actually fantastic. This is a really, really big blow to the Crusade, because now they're actually going to start diverting a lot of their attention to taking this back, because this is a pretty significant capture for us. And while they're doing this, you see, while they're doing this, I'm going to stay around here. Don't worry about that. I'm going to stay around here. But while their attention is focused on this, I'm hopefully going to be able to take these other castles around here. I might not show these sieges because I might be able to just auto-resolve them, and that's not particularly the most thrilling thing to see. But I might take one or two of these, dependent on what's kind of going on with the garrison, and if there's any kind of drama, kind of coming along with it. But for the most part, you can see how large the Crusade territory actually is. So one or two castles shouldn't be that big a deal. So otherwise, I would like to move on to around here. Basically, what I'd like to do is, I know this may seem like a bit of overextension, and I'm not a big fan of doing that, to be honest. But personally, I'd like to do something like this, where we literally just go all the way up to Vladiv Castle, take Tile, and then swing all the way back around. And then we're basically sandwiching them together and making it so that they cannot possibly escape and attempt to take something somewhere else. So it's kind of like a bit of a pincer movement, but a little bit janky. It's probably not going to work out too well, but we're going to see what indeed happens. So let's have a look at some of our other people's skills here. Varric, Varric has leveled up. Obviously, bear in mind, he is actually wearing better armor. This is just his default armor set at the moment, so you don't have to worry about him. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.